Hey, what's up, guys? Thought I'd go over some magazines that are on the shelves that also deal with fantastic cinema. That I usually haven't gone over. This one, Film Fight, man, this is it's been around for a long time. Um, I never really have gone over, but as I have become more retro in my looking backwards, right? Because the current year leaves me flat. Looking through this is very impressive. There's a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of pictures, but also just a lot of interesting overviews. Stuff that I sort of know of somewhat already, but you know, of course we got the mail order. PA is a huge thing here, man. You got some good conventions in PA. I kind of don't go to them anymore. Monster Mania is technically in Cherry Hill, but that's South Jersey. And we got yeah, this is a mail order thing. Creepy Classics. You still have. I can't believe you still have mail order horror stuff on DVD and whatnot. So I'm kind of happy for that. Is this? It's amazing. How can there be a show about something like this? I don't understand. I really, it's why would someone in Hollywood in the '60s be so insensitive as to make a show about German camps for prisoners? How did this ever get through? I don't. I'll never understand stuff like that. Like the producers, Mel Brooks, the producers, Zero Mostel, great film. But how could they have made a film like that in the '60s? I don't understand how they could have done this with all that has happened in the last century. I guess it's an anomaly. I guess we'll never know why they were so insensitive back then to make that. And this is cool. Actually, Aurora Monsters. I talk about visually. This is fascinating to me. I have no desire to make a monster model, none at all. But looking at this and reading about it is more interesting to me. Figure that. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I would make a model someday, but I got too many things to do. All right, so let's get in here. Obviously, the magazine is a catalog for back issues, just like Scary Monsters. These are in-house things. This is pretty much, like mail order business on top of the magazine being as much a vehicle for that, which is totally understandable. I remember this magazine too. I think they combined them now, and I'm not sure what their spin was, but anyway, going here just as an example. I'm not gonna go over for everything. You filmed The Girl Can't Help It. Remember Jane Mansfield? Remember her? And Mr. Anton LaVey, the way she died with the scarf, right, and the getting caught in the axle. Just reading here is about this film. You got Gene Vincent, blue suede shoes, and Little Richard's here. And that's interesting. It's an example of course, these are all boomers. Okay? Wait till I go over Scream, the recent Scream issue. Just wait. We got here, right? We got Eddie Cochran, Little Richard. We got all rock and rollers. Oh, threat here, right? Any other allegedly threatening rockers of the day? Well, I will say that this really was not as threatening as what people thought at the time. But what the people were wary of is not so much them in and of themselves, but what were they representing? Okay. And trust me, you know what I like. I'm definitely not a Puritan, and I like a lot of edgy stuff, but it's understandable. I have more sympathy more and more for the people back then who didn't like this stuff, especially when you add part two here. The fact that the most explosive musical performances in the picture come from a frankly sexualized black man. All right, here we go. In the large B. Little Richard was calculated by Tashlin. Who's Tashlin? Directed by Frank Tashlin. And co-writer Herbert Baker as a poke in the ribs of white, little W, white parents who fear for their daughter's virtue. It's kind of funny in a nuanced way, particularly this sexualized black man, Little Richard, was flaming out the wazoo. So very interesting that they would feel any fear for their daughter's virtue from him, but the fact that was calculated. Okay, now you see where this stuff comes. in and why people didn't like it. Okay. Anyway, that's my serious take for the moment. Real quick, Sinister Cinema. Okay, I was telling you about Midnight Video. Rest in peace. Yeah, the bootleg stuff back in the day. Something Weird Video. Maybe some of you remember. Sinister Cinema. They're still around. Okay, they really deal. It's amazing that they still have this mail order business with the many of these public domain films. Maybe not so public domain films. They really specialize actually in the original prints that were shown. Okay. Kind of like an interesting thing where they're trying to show the stuff that you would have seen on screen but with better quality, not necessarily the uncut editions. Okay, it's retro. Okay, it's nostalgia. And what was cool here as an example of there's stuff here I've never heard of, and there's always new things. How many films were made, obscure films? For example, okay, The Face of the Frog. What is this? An American detective becomes involved in a series of ghastly crimes. The only clue is the mysterious seal of the white frog. Some of the murder sequences in this film are very grim for the time. The frog's weird mask is cool, right? Taking place in Soho in London, right? German-made Edgar Wallace films. There's a whole, they call it creamy films. There's a whole genre of German-made, okay, West German-made crime thrillers, which are essentially imagine Batman, his maniacal mastermind costume villains. But imagine there was no Batman, right? There was just a detective or some kind of government agent facing these people who are psychopathic murderers and who always have some kind of weird totem, so to speak. So this is anticipating giallo films just a decade later. There's a lot of these krimis on the different video platforms for free, but that's an example. Or how about this? I've never heard this before. Flashman. Okay, Flashman is so campy it nearly defies description. Flashman is actually a spoiled British royal. Could show your respect. Hey, who wears one of the cheapest looking superhero getups ever created? His mask appears to be a ski mask with pieces of gray duct tape attached to it. Hey, this sounds like something I would do. There are lots of villains looking about, including a mafioso guy. Here we go, always the mafia. Kills a scientist for his invisibility formula and robs banks while invisible. There's also a bevy of gorgeous babes. I've never heard of this. They have British friggin' superhero films. Never ever heard of this, man. Amazing. So, and just they always go for really, really obscure films. Okay. So, the Mother Riley Meets the Vampire. I always wanted to see that. I never saw that film. Sinister Cinema still going on strong, man. Good going. Harryhausen. I'm not gonna really go over this too much. I never liked The Valley of Gwangi, and it was supposed to be a film that was planned years before. And the final product, I never really liked the film in terms of what happens in it. But of course, Gwangi itself is there's the moving miniature, right? These are stop motion. This is amazing special effects, man. Stop motion will always have a place in my heart. People, it's primitive. It's dude, man, fuck it, go fuck yourself. Not you guys, of course. I'm just saying. When I keep hearing about these special effects are laughable and crude today, when I got people looking at a video game as a movie, I just can't. You know what? I realize that we're in a place and time, and I'm out of step with the world, which is fine. But a very impressive creature. I just wish the movie was better. Alright, so getting into the campy territory, very campy, okay? Although it's all women here. Female aliens and films. This is a continuation, I guess, of the last issue. This is some kind of comedy. It's like the Abbott and Costello film, but without Abbott and Costello, two nobodies and these Amazon women and these carrot monsters. Never seen that, but I have seen the trailer. Oh, yo. Frankenstein meets the Space Monster. Great movie, bro. Great movie. Crazy, bizarre movie. Unlike anything you'd ever seen. Okay, monster versus monster. Really cool film. Really cool. Let's go through here. Remember this? This is one of those Russian films that Roger Corman made later. He made that into a film I remember as a kid seeing Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women. They show it on Channel 11 all the time. Once again, hey, Arkham Report. I told you about Mexican horror, how underrated and crazy it is. Like I said, Japanese films, Italian films, Mexican films are crazy too. Crazy factor. But they apparently not just horror. They made a lot of crazy science fiction. And of course, you got these gorgeous women. Santo, right? Contra la invasion de los marcianos. En el mascarado de plata, right? The Blue Demon, right? You had Mil Mascaras. You had all these guys fighting. So some of these are comedies, but all of them are gonna have these hot women and these crazy monsters, right? Of course, I never saw that film, the Queen of Blood, Roger Corman. I never saw that. Okay? Of course, Kumi Mizuno. I went over her with the other video, but also the two chicks from Gamera versus Guron, right? Attack of the Monsters, as I remember seeing it on television, and Barbara, I can't stand looking at her. So what a Lost in Space, right? And Star Trek. Lost in Space was very campy, and a show that apparently that was actually, I think, did better ratings than Star Trek. That goes to show you. I remember those women, the green skin women. What were they called? Anyway, going here. Now this is interesting, right? Yo, Battle Beyond the Stars. What a great Star Wars ripoff that was. Yeah, Catherine Shell, Maya. The only good thing about the second season of Space 1999, and Pamela Hensley, remember her? She was hot, man. Right, Ardala, Princess Ardala. That's funny too. I guess there's some feminism here, right? Unfortunately, there was a step backwards when Buck Rogers reappeared in 1979 with our stalwart hero pitted against the machinations of evil Princess Ardella, right? So the evil woman, not the woman capable of taking care of herself. Well, do you remember in the damn same show you had Colonel Wilma Deary, played by Erin Gray, the first woman that I fell in love with as a little kid. So, and of course, yeah, Caroline Monroe, Star Crash. Yeah, I've gone over these in other videos, but it's interesting. All these films. Remember Superman 2? I thought that this woman reminded me of my mother. She had that haircut at the time, I remember. So these are and of course, freaking damn heavy metal. And I think I remember there was this one too. Who is she? I forgot. Anyway, let's round out. I'm running out of time. Cool photos. Damn, look how tall Will Chamberlain and my man. Rest in peace, Andre the Giant. Look how big he was, dude. Look at freaking my man's like, yo, I ain't nothing. Right? The Thing, this movie, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, that's a nasty movie. Rounding it out with comics about the atomic, right? The comics really get going in the 50s, the early 50s. And the atomic race begins, as America is not the only country that has it. The Soviets get their hands on it. I think another country also got their hands on it, but I don't know which one that is. Ripped from the headlines of today. Interesting. I remember this. Murphy Anderson, great DC artist. The Atomic Knight. This was an interesting comic. It was interesting because you had these people survive World War III wearing this special medieval armor they found. It wasn't even armor that had been made by them, like battle armors or something. But medieval armor that had a molecular structure that protected them from radiation. I thought that was interesting. That was very interesting. It was really interesting science fiction stories by DC. And going here, right? Captain Atom, right? Charlton Comics, Captain Atom, Dr. Solar, right? We were going over this. Gold Key, Firestorm. Remember Firestorm was huge. When I was a kid, I remember Firestorm was a big character. And of course, Dr. Manhattan himself. What is Dr. Manhattan? Dr. Manhattan was Alan Moore wanting to take Captain Atom and the other Charlton heroes and do a story with them. Then DC decided, no, we're going to keep these. You make characters based on them, and then you can do what the hell you want with them. Just rounding it out. Let's see. Okay, real quick. I know I'm running out of time here. This story here from Kurtzman, the atomic bomb of Hiroshima, right? One of the first stories on it. And of course, the fucking tearjerker, man. I'm going to go over this at one point in the video. The movie version of Barefoot Jen. Very difficult to watch. Okay? Very, very heartbreaking friggin' story. And the communist writer I actually respect, because never in this story Is there anything other than a masculine response and stoicism demanded? Okay, and I guess I gotta do another video. I can't help it. There's just too much here.